Hey everybody, and welcome to my run of Ostrov, which translates in English to the island. This is a game by a group of teenagers that was put out in 2005 roundabouts, and is the sequel to Matrone, a game you might have seen me play on Don't Make Us Bored. The game is in Russian, but I'm going to be giving a little explanation after each section as to what's happening. So without further ado, yes, there is a cat for some reason. All right, and go.
Все это началось давно, когда я еще верил в добродетель. Я был нормальным человеком, но остров сыграл со мной и злую шутку. Будь он проклят. Это началось 3 дня назад. Когда сознание вернулось ко мне, я был в воде. Я долго плыл. И только под утро добрался до берега. Так я попал на остров. На нем я нашел еще 5 товарищей по несчастью. К полудню мы собрались и разожгли костер, чтобы просушить одежду. Настроение было поганое.
Alright, so that says day 1. Now let me first tell you about the interface and I'll tell you what you just saw. At the top, it says day : and then it's the first day. To the right of it will tell you your progress, and then on the left it has island. The game has an inventory system, which is kind of primitive, and we'll show you that when we get to it. What's happened so far is this guy was out at sea. He was apparently on some sort of shipwreck, washed up, and begins the narration by saying that this was a long time ago. He still believed in goodness and was still a normal person, but the island plays a trick on him, and he finds these 5 other strangers. They get together and they build a fire to dry their clothing. Yeah, so the one I did show before was Matrone, which are the same kids. This game's a little bit more serious. So we're going to go through and meet each of the characters, even though this is not a requirement for the run. I think it'll give you a little more context.
Клава, она мне сразу понравилась. Что-то в ней было такое, что притягивает людей.
So that's Clava, and also sometimes referred to as Claudia. So as these characters are referenced, I'm going to put up their faces, and you'll see in a little bit why I'm doing that.
Ирка, подруга Клавы. Не надо было быть и врачом, чтобы понять, что ей требуется срочная медицинская помощь. Видимо, у нее было повреждено ребро. Наверное, даже было сильное внутреннее кровотечение. Я не знал. И никто из нас не знал.
So that was Ira or Irka. You can see that she's not very well. She has a medical emergency of some sort, a bruised rib and internal bleeding. But the kids on the island aren't doctors, so they don't know exactly what's wrong with her.
Вадик был самым старшим. Ну, на год или на 2.
So that's Vadik, and the narrator, who's the kid on the right and the main character on the game, says that Vadik's the oldest by a year or so.
Колька, наш младшенький. Я его знал давно, потому что он из нашей школы. Замкнутый он был. И ботан.
So that's Koika, and he's known by the narrator because he's a nerdy kid at school.
Борька был веселый парень, но что называется, сам себе на уме. Хитрый.
And that is Burka, who is known as a trickster. So now we finally get to our main player.
И тут прямо с неба упала записка. Это видели все. Я развернул ее и прочел.
Okay, so this is a key part. What that said is, kill 3 and you will be saved. So we're now going to go through seeing some people die. And as they die, I'm going to mark them off the list. So the idea with the plot is that it has to be one person who kills 3. And then that person will be saved. But they don't really know where this note came from. It's just said it dropped from the sky. So now we'll get into the gameplay. So you can see that essentially you just navigate by clicking on these arrows, but the arrows are not always in very convenient places. So like to go right, you have to go on this very specific place where the arrow
Самое
is.
страшное, что никто из нас не помнил, как он очутился на острове.
So he's saying that the worst part was that nobody remembered how they ended up on the island.
Скажи, что ты думаешь об этой записке?
So there's Burka the trickster.
Ты дурак, что ли? Туристы были, баловались, а ты нюни распустил.
Хорошо б, если бы это было так.
And he's saying, what do you think of this note? You're a fool. The campers were just fooling around, just being silly. I wish it were true. You're going to see a little bit of foreshadowing. There is the number 5 on this tree here in red. I wonder what that could mean. They're passing the time playing cards.
Давайте семерки, а то костер потухает.
She's still a bit sick, and for some reason he wants to burn the cards. For no reason that's explained. Okay, so now we're in the forest, and there's some sort of box on the tree. And then it's a little weird. There's nothing really indicating that this is what you're supposed to do, but the next thing is to click on this bush instead of the box.
Если ты дрянь, то умрешь в страшных мучениях.
Какой ужас.
Панамку дай.
Зачем она тебе?
Голову напекло. Ну ладно, я пошла.
So she says to him, "Don't eat those, you'll die in terrible agony." Well, I'm off. And he says, "I'd rather have a drink." So now we're going to give him a drink. Oh, that wasn't such a good idea. Who could have seen that coming? Alright, so here's another little thing I'll show you that's not actually required for the game, but this tree has a number 1 on it. Ooh, what could that mean? Alright, so she brought some of the water with berries in it for her very sick friend to drink. So I wonder how that's gonna go. Day 2. And there goes Berka.
Ночью Ирка умерла.
Irka died in the night. We carried the body.
Мы отнесли ее на поляну.
So that's it for Irka.
Накрыли чем смогли.
So for those keeping score at home, Claudia has 1 kill, and it's Irka. Let's take a closer look at this body. All right.
Убей троих, и ты спасешься.
So Berka just keeps repeating,
Заткнись.
kill 3 and you will be saved.
Убей троих, и ты спасешься. Убей троих, и ты спасешься.
Дай сюда нож. Только попробуй.
And he has a knife. So that kind of makes everybody a little suspicious of him.
Стой! Стоять! Стой!
Alright, so let's follow him and not at all the direction that he just went. And for some reason, he is over here. Hiding in the grass. He's saying, kill, kill, kill.
А скажут, что я его убил. Специально. Я им ничего не скажу.
So yeah, Berka, the player character said, I killed him, and they'll say I killed him on purpose, so I won't say anything. Okay, so he's kind of dead now. And so we have player has killed one, and Claudia has killed one. So it's a tie score. Now we're gonna pick up these objects here, the knife. That could come in handy. And the rock. That could also come in handy. So you'll see now we have an inventory, and you can only use these inventory items on the proper screen. So they won't be, I mean, you'll see them, but they won't be active on screens where you can't use them.
Ну чё, нашел?
Нет. Как сквозь землю провалился.
Ты чё такой грустный? Найдем. Остров-то небольшой.
So he said, what did you find? And he said, nothing.
Смотрите, вон там.
She says, look over there.
Вон там.
Look, dead guy. So Vadi jumps in the water after him.
Не достать. Там глубоко.
And for some reason, this guy keeps taking his shirt off. If he drowns, does that count for our score? Ooh, it's a good question. Alright, so we are back to the corpse. So...
Заткнись.
she was dead, that was just a dream. Yes, we have to kill at least 3 people to be saved.
Все, больше карт нету.
И грибов нету, и ягод нету.
Ладно, пойду рыбу ловить.
So he said, no more berries, I'm gonna go fishing. And that is the end of the first disc. Alright, so now we're on the second disc, and an interesting thing about how this game works, it doesn't actually remember what your inventory is, but because by the time you will have finished the first disc, you will necessarily have these 2 items, it starts you with those. So we are now on day 3. And this unfortunately has a little bit less dialogue throughout the CD, but there's a lot more at the epilogue where it gets exciting. I don't think I went the right place. Let's try that again. Yeah, there are 2 lefts. There we go. So much for the speed run. Okay, so remember he said he wanted to go fishing. So he found something in her hair that might be useful for that. So let's see what he has to say. He doesn't really have much to say. He's just sitting there eating berries. Apparently they're not very good. So you're somehow supposed to realize that in this screen there is a small tree or small plant and that you're supposed to use this knife on it. And since the hotspots aren't quite correct, I just hit the down arrow when I meant to hit the knife icon. That means if the berries get a kill count of 3 first, maybe the berries will be saved. I'm having a little trouble getting it to click on the right spot. No, that's not what I wanted. the hotspot for the down overlaps with the hotspot for the inventory item. So you have to figure out, like, exactly where is the right place to click on. So this might take me a couple times. Let me resize the window and see if that helps. It doesn't seem to be working. All right, let's see if there's some keyboard control that'll let me do this. Whoa! Okay. Okay, let's... There we go. Okay. The game's hotspot is wildly off. And I think my window's a little bit off now. Is that about right? Okay, we now have a stick. Yay. Okay, I think that looks about right. Sorry about that. That has never happened before. Okay, so now that we have this stick, I'm gonna go to the right. There it is. There's right. We're going to click on the body again. And we're gonna use the knife for some reason. There is a worm. I guess her body is already decaying. Now we have a worm, so we're like 3/4 of the way to building a fishing rod.
If I told you I could take you to a higher place, would you come with me?
Oh, I don't know what the Japanese restream's gonna do with this. I have the off-centered down arrow. Okay, so we're now on this screen, which has no purpose other than to be the screen that you use the stick. And so you can't use the screen, you can't use the stick on any other screen. But all you do here is take out your knife and cut it. I don't know why you couldn't do that anywhere else, but apparently they only wanted to film this scene once. So that's Койка.
Да я не ловил еще.
Ну ладно, я пойду на дерево лезть, корабль высматриваю. Давай.
And Koika says, well, what did you catch? He says, I haven't caught anything yet. And then Koiko wanders off and says, well, I'm going to go look for a ship. So he's going to go up into the tree where he can see if there are any ships passing by. So this might be a good time to point out that the number 1 was on a tree next to the berries, and the berries were what killed the first person. Now, there are 2 rivers in this game, and only one of them you can catch fish in. I don't know why only one river has fish in it. There are several potential serial killers. Now we can fish. And I should mention that one fish died during the filming of this game. So, rip fish. Well, this game isn't really hard in any sense. It takes a long time wandering around randomly to figure out what happens or what you're supposed to do. Oh, 3! There's a number 3 and the third person who's dead.
Наверное, у него голова закружилась. Он 3 дня ничего не ел.
Да, верно.
So, Vadi, who is wearing a Man-O-War shirt, the American heavy metal band, says, well, he must have gotten dizzy. He hasn't eaten in 3 days. And your character says, probably? So he just got dizzy and fell out of a tree onto a stake that impaled him. All right. So, who killed him? We don't know. Somebody got a point for that, probably. Or maybe nobody got a point because he was really just dizzy. But as these people die, there's less and less chance that somebody's going to get 3 kills. All right, now some drama's gonna happen.
Я не могу поверить, неужели мы все умрем?
Нет, мы умрем не все.
So Claudia says, I can't believe we're all gonna die. Oh!
Клавдия, Клавдия.
So that doesn't look good for Vadik.
Голос совсем иного мнения. Ах, неужели это ты отравила Ир?
He's accusing her of killing everybody.
Бедного Кольку с дерева и пырнула ножом Вадика.
Pushed him out of the tree. You poisoned the girl.
Заткнись.
And now you just killed
Записка
him.
здесь ни при чем. Я только облегчила Иркины страдания. А Кольку я не убивала. Это сделал он.
He's asking like, why are you doing this? I thought you were a nice person.
И поплатился за это. И поплатился за это. Поплатился за это.
And she responds,
Ладно, не нервничай, девочка.
I only gave her the berries to ease her suffering. I didn't kill Berka, that was Vadik. And he paid for it. Like she just stabbed Vadik because of him trying to murder Berka. But as we see, perhaps Vadik is not quite dead. So we're gonna have to undead him.
Добей меня, я все равно не...
And Vadik says, finish me
Ты же
off.
знаешь, я бы никогда этого не сделал. Зачем ты Колька-то? Он же мухи за всю жизнь не обидел.
And the character says, you know I would never do that. Why did you do this to Koika? He's never hurt a fly in his whole life. Okay, so now Vadik is dead again, and that's a second point for us. So we have 2 kills. We're not entirely sure about how many points Claudia has, but she seems to now be dead. Oh, she has a heartbeat. She's not dead.
Сердце ее тихо, медленно, но бьется. Не раздумывая ни секунды, я ударил ее ножом.
Now she no longer has a heartbeat and she is dead.
Ну вот и все. Остров вдоволь насытился кровью в эти дни. Я убил их всех своими собственными руками.
So now he's sitting there and he's saying, I'm sitting on the shore with my knife. I killed them all with my own hands. So he got his 3 points now. Berka, Vadik, and Claudia.
Борька,
But was she dead?
Вадик,
After all, I only wounded her. She still found her strength.
или нет? Клава, неужели?
So she didn't die. She found strength and hung herself again. Thus negating his
Она была
point.
мертва. Ведь я только ранил ее. Она все-таки нашла в себе силы и отомстила мне. Теперь и мне крышка.
So he only has 2 points
Даже в
now,
этот момент надежды не оставляла
and
мне.
everybody's dead.
А что если я убью
Well,
себя?
not everybody's
Будет
dead.
как раз 3 человека.
Hope never left me. What if I kill myself? It'll be 3 people. Maybe by some diabolical way I'll
Каким-нибудь
find
дьявольским образом
salvation.
Я все же обрету спасение.
The note can't lie. It's a sign from above.
Это знак свыше.
I've deceived conscience, death,
И самого
and
себя.
myself. With these thoughts, I lay there bleeding for an hour, maybe 10.
И с этими мыслями лежал я так, истекая кровью. Час, а может и 10.
But wait.
Что?
There's another note. So he didn't actually commit suicide. He just tried, and there's a note. What did it say at the end? But wait. It's a joke! So that was Island. So I just want to how am I on time? I have about 3 or 4 minutes left, so want to say a couple other things about this game. So this is actually based on a short story by a Russian author, and it's kind of an obscure thing that just appeared in the magazine, but it's called Tales of Temptation. And this is what it was based on, but they took some liberties in it. So in the original, there were only 3 people, and so it made a little bit more sense. But what happened was the main character accidentally killed somebody, accidentally killed Berka during a fight, and so he's unclear whether that counts or not. But the note in that case said kill 2 with a knife and you will be saved. So it actually specified you had to die with a knife. So then he was like, all right, well, I killed 1 and there's 1 person left. So if any of us are going to get off the island, that means I have to be the one doing the killing. So even though I don't really want to kill, if the other person kills me, then nobody gets off the island because they'll have a score of 1 and I'll have a score of 1. So the only fair thing to do is to kill the other person. I'll have a score of 2. But then the other person died, and so he was not able to get second person, so he kills himself, and that's where it ends up. So it's a much tighter story. They clearly, you know, there were 6 of them in this cast, and they're 6 friends, and so they wanted to do this story, but they had to make some changes for it. But it is a coherent plot because they based it on this short story. Their previous game, Game-A-Thon, was a lot of fun. It was very like goofy horror, but it was kind of hard to figure out what on earth was going on. And in fact, this game I didn't really make a lot of sense of until I read the short story. So in about a week or so, I'm going to put up a walkthrough that's translated into English on YouTube. And with that, thank you all for watching, and back over to you, host.